Welcome everyone. Today I am excited to introduce you to our presentation on reasoning classes, full exercise with tricks and examples. This is the perfect starting point for anyone preparing for exams like SSC, bank, railway, BPSC, or UPSC. We'll explore how to learn reasoning using logic, patterns, and clever tricks to boost your confidence and skills. The book is authored by Varun Vijay, and I'll be guiding you through this journey. So, let's get started and dive into the world of reasoning. Today, we're going to go through a quick summary of the key topics we'll cover in this course. First up is the alphabet test, which helps us improve our understanding of patterns and sequences in the alphabet. Next, we have number and letter series, an important area that sharpens your ability to identify logical progressions. Then, we'll look into coding, decoding, a crucial skill for cracking codes and understanding hidden meanings. After that, we'll review blood relations, which enhances your ability to analyze family relationships and connections. Following this, there will be a mini revision to reinforce what we've learned so far. Throughout all these topics, our main goal is to understand the core concepts thoroughly, learn shortcut tricks to solve problems faster, see practical examples, and most importantly, practice regularly to build confidence. Remember, the book for this course is written by Varun Vijay, who's an expert in simplifying these topics for your benefit. So, stay focused, and let's get ready to master these concepts together. Let's dive into the alphabet test, concept, and trick. First, we check the position of letters, where A equals 1 and Z equals 26. This helps us understand the basic numerical placement of each letter in the alphabet. When someone asks us to do the reverse, we switch the order, so Z becomes 1, and A becomes 26. This trick is useful for quick mental calculations and adds a layer of flexibility to how we interpret the alphabet. Next, we look at counting the letters between two alphabets. For example, if we're asked to find how many letters are between C and G, we simply count the position difference, which helps sharpen our mental agility and number sense. Now, here's the trick part that often surprises people. Remember the middle pairs of the alphabet. For example, M and N are right in the center, with M at 13 and N at 14. Recognizing these middle pairs makes it easier to estimate distances and perform calculations quickly. This concept ties into the overall theme of mental agility and quick thinking, skills that are essential in many areas. And with that, I'll pass it over to the next slide. Let's take a closer look at the alphabet test, starting with the example. When we're asked to find the number of letters between F and T, we count the positions in the alphabet. F is the 6th letter, and T is the 20th. Subtracting 6 from 20 gives us 14, but since we're asked for the letters in between, we subtract 1, resulting in 13. Now moving on to the practice questions. The first one asks, how many letters are between K and U? K is the 11th letter, U is the 21st. Subtract 11 from 21, which gives us 10, and since we're counting the letters in between, we subtract 1, resulting in 9. The second question asks, which letter is the 10th from the right in the alphabet? The alphabet has 26 letters, so counting from the end, the first from the right is Z, the second is Y, and so on. The 10th from the right would be the 17th letter from the start, so that's Q. The third question is about coding the word dog. Given the pattern where A equals 26, B equals 25, C equals 24, and so forth. This pattern counts backwards from A, so D, which is the 4th letter, would be 23. O is the 15th letter, so it would be 26 minus 15 plus 1, which is 12. G is the 7th letter, so it would be 20. Therefore, the code for dog is 23, 12, 20. Remember, these types of questions are great for sharpening your logical thinking and understanding patterns in the alphabet, which are useful skills in many problem-solving scenarios. Let's dive into the concept of number and letter series and the trick to solving them. First, observe the pattern. This could involve addition or subtraction, multiplication, division, or even alternating operations. The key is to identify which operation is happening at each step. When it comes to letters, it's helpful to use their positions in the alphabet. For example, O is 1, B is 2, and so on up to Z, which is 26. To make calculations easier, the trick is to write these numbers directly below the corresponding letters. So, if you see a sequence of letters, translate them into numbers to spot the pattern more clearly. Another important point is that these patterns tend to repeat after 3 or 4 steps. Recognizing this repetition can save you a lot of time and effort in solving these series. Remember, this concept is a useful tool in various reasoning questions, and understanding the trick can make the process much more straightforward. Keep practicing these steps, and you'll get better at quickly identifying patterns and solving these series efficiently. Let's look at some number and letter series examples and practice. For the example, A, C, E, G. Notice that we're skipping one letter each time. So after G, if we keep skipping one letter, the next letter is I. The key idea here is to recognize the pattern of skipping letters to find the missing one. Now for practice. First, the number series, 2, 4, 8, 16. Here, we can see that each number is multiplied by 2 to get the next one. So, after 16, multiplying by 2 gives us 32. Second, the letter series, B, D, G, K. Let's analyze the pattern. B to D adds 2 letters, D to G adds 3 letters, G to K adds 4 letters. So following that pattern after K, we add 5 letters, which brings us to P. Third, the series with numbers, 3, 6, 18, 72. This one involves multiplication patterns. 3 multiplied by 2 gives 6. 6 multiplied by 3 gives 18. 18 multiplied by 4 gives 72. Continuing this pattern, multiply 72 by 5, which results in 360. Remember, the key to these series questions is to check for differences or multiplication patterns. These are your clues to find the missing elements. This approach helps you decode the sequence step by step, making even complex series manageable. Today, let's explore the concept of coding decoding and some useful tricks to crack these types of questions. The main idea here is to find the relationship between the original word and its coded form. Sometimes, this relationship involves shifting letters by a certain number, like +1 or -1. Other times, it might involve revering the order of the letters or replacing each letter with its opposite in the alphabet. A very handy trick is to compare the first and last letters of the words to see if there's a pattern. You can also use the alphabet numbers to help identify shifts or changes. For example, if the first letter of the original word is A and the coded letter is B, that indicates a +1 shift. Remember, the key is to look for consistent patterns across the words to decode them correctly. This approach will make solving coding-decoding problems much more manageable and will help you see the underlying logic behind the transformations. Now, let's look at some examples and practice to understand coding and decoding better. In the example, we see that if cat becomes DBU by adding 1 to each letter, then dog would be EPH using the same pattern. The key idea here is shifting each letter by a certain number of places in the alphabet. For the practice questions, you'll notice similar patterns. First, pen turns into QFO. Here, each letter is shifted forward in the alphabet. So, what do you think book would become? Think about the same shifting pattern. Next, sky becomes TLZ, which also involves shifting letters. Now, try to decode moon using the same approach. And finally, there's a special pattern where a equals Z, meaning the alphabet is reversed or mirrored. So, if hello follows this pattern, what would its decoded form be? Understanding these coding and decoding techniques helps us develop logical thinking and problem-solving skills, which are essential in many areas. Remember, the key is to identify the pattern, whether it's shifting letters forward or backward or revering the alphabet, and then apply it consistently. This exercise is all about practice and recognizing patterns, which ties into our overall theme of sharpening our analytical skills through fun and engaging methods. Let's delve into the concept of blood relations and explore a useful trick to solve related problems more easily. To start, we'll use symbols. A plus sign, plus, represents a male, and a minus sign indicates a female. These symbols help us quickly understand family members and their relationships. Next, we'll learn how to draw a family tree step by step. Building it gradually makes complex relationships clearer and easier to analyze. Now, here's a trick that can save you time. When you encounter a statement like, X is the brother of Y, read it from right to left. This approach simplifies understanding the relationship and helps in correctly positioning individuals within the family tree. Remember, this trick is especially handy for resolving tricky family questions quickly and accurately. It's a small tip with a big impact on your problem-solving efficiency. So keep practicing drawing family trees and applying this trick, and you'll find these questions become much more manageable. Let's look at some more examples and practice to strengthen our understanding of blood relations. On this slide, we have an example. A is the father of B, and C is the mother of B. From this, we can conclude that A and C are the parents of B. It's a straightforward relationship that helps us understand the family tree better. Now, moving on to practice questions. The first one is, A is the brother of B. B is the sister of C. The question asks, what is A's relation to C? Think about it. A is the brother of B, and B is C's sister, so A and C are brothers and sister, which means A is C's brother. Next, we have, P is the son of Q, and Q is the daughter of R. The question is, what is R's relation to P? Well, since Q is P's mother and Q is R's daughter, R must be P's grandfather or grandmother, depending on the gender. This kind of reasoning helps us understand the relationships clearly. Finally, the last question is, he is my father's only son. Who is in the photo? Well, if he is my father's only son, then he must be me, or possibly my brother if I am a girl, but usually it points to me myself. And just to acknowledge the author of this material, the book is written by Varun Vijay. This kind of practice is essential because understanding family relationships is fundamental in many reasoning questions. Keep practicing, and these relationships will become second nature to you. Let's go through some key revision tips to strengthen your pattern recognition skills. First, always label your patterns from A to Z, but include numbers for quick reference. This helps you organize your thinking and spot connections more easily. Remember, it's crucial to decode the pattern logically. Don't jump to conclusions, analyze the sequence step by step. When the question involves relationships, convert those relationships into symbols, which makes solving much clearer. Consistent practice is vital, so aim for doing 3 to 5 sets daily. The more you practice, the sharper your reasoning becomes. And keep in mind, reasoning is essentially pattern recognition, as Varun Vijay emphasizes. So the core idea is to see the pattern, understand it, and apply it confidently. This approach, combined with regular practice, will truly improve your skills over time. All right, let's take a quick look at what's coming next. In the next part, we'll dive into 4 fascinating topics that are really essential for problem-solving and reasoning skills. First up is direction sense. This is all about understanding and navigating directions, which might seem simple, but is actually quite important in many puzzles and real-life situations. Next, we'll explore ranking, where we learn how to determine positions or orderings in various contexts, very useful for quantitative reasoning. Then, we'll look at sitting arrangement, which involves arranging people logically and efficiently, often seen in puzzles and seating plans. Lastly, we'll cover mathematical reasoning, where we apply logic and math to solve complex problems. These topics build on what we've learned so far and are vital for developing sharp reasoning skills. And remember to keep enhancing your skills. You can always learn more with Book Writer, authored by Varun Vijay. Thanks for staying engaged, and I look forward to exploring these topics with you in the next session.